Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account and we have a brand new Grand Hunt guide that is up from AFK inside. Now making sure guys, within the Temporal Rift that you are assigning your beacons. Now I went through a couple different variations here. I'm running Tank, Warrior, and Support in here. It seems like those are going to be the three that you're going to be running. Again, depending on your layout, I know some players do run Mage, but the guide does cover the Tank, the Warrior, and the Support. Looking at where we're currently at within the Grand Hunt, we're in the top 1,000, I believe, around 1%. 3 days left, so I do recommend utilizing some diamonds in here. Really takes away some of the RNG factor. As you see right here, though, guys, I need about 23 billion damage to actually get to the next rank or the next division to get in that top 1,000. So it is going to be a little bit of a struggle depending on the build of your heroes. But let's go ahead. We're going to run through the guide. Hope it really helps. And let me know in the comments if it does help or if you know any of the formations that work a little better than this. So let's go ahead and take a look at the guide. All right, guys, here it is, the Grand Hunt Season 4, Round 3. This is, of course, the final one for the frame, which means you got to really push this one. Looking at the teams, we have Peanut and Mishka. We've seen that combination before. We have Tamaris in here, which I know a lot of players do not have him built. Then we have Moriel, and then we do have Queen. So this team, and I want to kind of explain how it works. This team will stack everyone together. So all of the enemies, Moriel, Tamaris, and Mishka, and Queen will keep all of the enemies in a very, very tight formation. We have Talisman in here that is, of course, going to wreck that formation. But Peanut is really the primary damage dealer in here. Will alt, rain, fire, do damage, and does just an absolute insane amount of damage to the heroes that are in there. Now, the bigger and better that you have a star built out, the higher and the better that she is going to perform within this formation. And then, of course, you do have the hatchets right here, the revitalizing crystal, and I believe the revitalizing herb is that last one. Looking at team 2, we have Anasta and Brutus. Like we said from our videos before, guys, Anasta is really making a solid showing in so many aspects of AFK Arena. We have Joan in here for buffs. We have Hodgkin in here for buffs and crowd control. And then, of course, we have the energy regeneration piece that the original version of Aziz does bring, as well as the owl down here or the fire breather. I like the owl because he does provide haste, and most of these heroes will be stacked together. Now, team number 3, this is a really interesting one because remember, you have to have the original version of Taylene built. You have to have Orthos to that 3 of 9 furniture. And then out of these two, Taylene has to be the strongest hero within the formation. If she is not, this formation fundamentally does not work because what will happen is Orthos will ult. Usually with this formation, either Silas or Halos will be the strongest combat rating in there, meaning they are going to move during the ultimate ability and not Taylene. This has to be driven by Taylene. In addition, guys, the original version of Taylene is based on the ultimate skill, and HP is what really does her damage. You can see here, I think that's the piercing ammo, if I remember correctly, the herbs, the hatchet, and then the crystal, as well as the moth. So the moth will actually buff her normal attacks, which is what you're looking to do in team number 3. But team number 4, we have Belinda. And one thing you'll notice, guys, is right here with Brutus and right here with the Awakened version of Belinda, you can use them at a lower level. The effectiveness, the efficiency is going to be down a little bit, but you can still utilize them at that level. So we have the Awakened version of Belinda. We have Palmer as a buffer, Rosline as a buffer, Rain as a buffer, and then, of course, Saurus is a boss killer, which means he's not only going to do a lot of damage, but when he gets those 5 stacks like he normally does, he is going to have the ability to keep up this entire team with the healing aspect that they need so we don't have anyone dying in there. Then, of course, the Winged Lion is the best in-slot pet within there, followed by our Stone Lizard. And then we have the boss team. This is the final boss team, guys. We have Grez and we have Antandra. Again, Antandra has been making an absolute crazy good showing when it comes to the Grand Hunt, which is really cool to see. And then, of course, we have Solus, we have Nevi, and we have the twins, and literally pretty much the same one. The only variation is right here with Rosline that is running, I believe it's the Rallying Horn is the name of this one. But as you can see, that is going to be the driving force. And then down here, we do have our Lizard and then we do our dragon, and then we do have the owl. Now, of course, this team, guys, on Tundra is going to be doing all the damage. Well, Grez does a considerable amount if you have Nevi to that E60, because Nevi's E60, of course, is going to be buffing the minions of Grez, is going to be buffing the minions of Solus, and then we have the twins in here to really start that super cycle. Now, looking at some of the substitutes in here, we can see if you don't have Moriel, which is up here in the first team, Oden will work. That's what a lot of players that I've seen are running. And the interesting thing with this is the mages. So they're running the mages for the support or for the crowd control, not for the damage, which again is kind of the interesting thing here. We have Orthos down here being replaced with Rowan. We have Palmer in here with Vathiel. Again, this is kind of a tough substitution. If you don't have Palmer or Vathiel built, you can actually use a Strilda. That was actually a hero that we've used again or before that has kind of that buffing aspect in there. Hodgkin in here for, of course, Scrag, and then Nevi in here for Palmer. But again, Palmer's already in another formation. And it's hard. I know some players were talking about the free-to-play formations. A majority of these heroes on my free-to-play account, I have a majority of these heroes pretty well covered. Even having them some at a basic, like the Awakened version of Belinda. But a majority of them I do have covered. I know I don't have Tamris in there, which again, a hero that is going to bring kind of all of the enemies together and buff like Tamris does. You really want to, again, fundamentally, that is why I wanted to cover each formation individually, so you kind of know the mechanics behind it or the logic behind it. Because if you can get another hero similar to Tamris, that's going to keep all of the formations together. I know some players have run Mulan in that slot, but go through, look at the available formations, see exactly what you have, what is available to build, and you can literally see exactly what badges they're using on here. Now the Elder Tree, so the Temporal Beacons, Warrior Tank Support to the max, and then Fearsome Alliance to the max is optimal, and then Badge Addiction is optimal or to the max as well. Now it's interesting because most of the time you're not going to have the ability to actually get these to the max. For a majority of players, if you're not a heavy spender, these are not going to be maxed out. So what I do is I put one in Badge Addiction. We can put one in Fearsome Alliance. The rest of these we can actually go out and get these to the max. Now some tips in here, guys. In order to gain more damage, you can reset branches of the Elder Tree. It does run you 300 diamonds to reset all of those, but it does work very, very well. You do get a little bit of an edge when it comes to building out that Elder Tree and maxing out the different branches. Legendary copies of Awakened Solus, Brutus, and Belinda also work, which they are, guys. If you don't have these Awakened heroes built, they are working incredibly well at a lower level. The Awakened version of Belinda is able to reach cap of damage even at 0 mage beacons, which again is kind of broken because of her burn ability, but has a lot of viability when it comes to the formations. Sorry guys, so that'll do it for today's video. I wanted to cover the guide. I know getting the guide out there, getting the exposure, looking at the best in slot teams, even looking at the substitutions in here, it's really dependent on the heroes that you do have built within AFK Arena to be able to run these different game modes. So again, guys, that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys for watching.